CSR is sustainable development, making a corporation a good member of society. And part of corporate governance is creating long-term value for shareholders in a company, but that company can't create long-term value without having a long-term time horizon and a long-term concern for all of those stakeholders that are important in creating a stable company. So they have to be concerned about how well they treat their employees. They have to be concerned about their impact on the environment. Both the fact is that nobody wants to ruin the environment they have to work and live in. And generally pollution is a result of inefficient processes. So by eliminating your pollution, you're improving the efficiency of your processes and hopefully make more money. So it should be a win-win to be environmentally sound. Also, the fines for environmental pollution are significant. And the reputational risk of environmental pollution are even higher. If people think that their company is polluting the environment or deliberately poisoning the people around them, they're not going to buy the products, regardless of whether the products are safe or not, or they're desirable or not otherwise. Things like supply chain management. Nike was in a lot of trouble for having done a lot of their work done in sweatshops. Increasingly, Disney got caught because some of the stuff they were done, some of their products were built by slave labor in China. So looking at supply chain management is both a reputational risk issue. Nobody wants to be a slave driver, perceived as exploiting children, perceived as starving their workers in foreign countries. And the same extent, so there's a lot of issues where care for society in general translates into a good business practice. And that's where corporate governance and CSR come together, in that a well-governed company also does not pollute the environment, does not exploit child labor, does not lock their employees in the factories overnight. Walmart in the US was being criticized because they were locking their cleaning staff in the building so that they wouldn't steal anything overnight while they were cleaning, and they got caught in a fire. And the doors were locked, they couldn't get out. So there's a lot of areas where if you're managing your business well, you're also a good corporate citizen, and that's what CSR is about.
So, and what are investors looking after? What are they interested in mainly?
The primary focus of institutional investors, I have to keep them separate from individuals. Institutional investors are looking for the money. First and primary, their focus is to make money for their clients, because that's how they get paid. But what they're looking for are companies that offer a long-term value to the clients, because even though many of them are judged on their every 3 months performance figures, they still know that if they're going to be in business 10 years from now, they better pick companies that are a good investment. And a good investment means a company that's very responsible for their activities, that has a clear strategy for how to do things, and they're looking at a board of directors that takes a real active interest in what's happening at the company. So they're looking to see whether, for example, there's an environmental director on the board, because that means that the company has a sufficient level of concern for the environment that they've made it a board level issue. They'll look to see what their compliance rules are. Does the company have a code of ethics? Are they actually requiring their executives to sign up to a code of conduct they might not otherwise have signed up to? And that's a good sign, even for an institutional investor, that the company cares about at least their reputation, if not the reality of what their activities are. So I think that even though that traditionally there are different camps, traditionally SRI people and CSR people were seen as, tree huggers, the sort of CSR was a warm and fuzzy sort of thing, but not relevant to business. There's just people that had a leftist liberal orientation. Now the hard right group, the institutional investors, are seeing that those issues matter, and they are part of the risk tolerance level they have for companies, and they're coming together and appreciating that some of those concepts and ideas have a very real cost to shareholders, and that it's important that the companies that they invest in respect those issues.